may be seated. I invite you to turn your attention to the orchestra and the playing of the Fanfare for the class of 2023, written by Professor of Music Hae-Kyung Lee, and first played at your induction 4 years ago.
Members of the class of 2023, parents, family members, trustees, faculty, staff, and honored guests. On behalf of the Board of Trustees of Denison University, I am delighted to welcome you to the 182nd Annual Commencement Exercises, concluding the 192nd year of the college. Class of 2023, today is your day. Congratulations. President Weinberg talks about being the architects of your own lives. And you will leave today, if not with blueprints, at least with some drawings. All of us on the board once sat where you sit today. Now you will move into our spaces that we have occupied since our graduations. As alums, you become permanent members of a family that is over 40,000 strong and spans the world. Being a graduate of a place shows that you completed your academic requirements. We all know how much more than academic your time has been. Today, others will highlight your class's many contributions to the college. I would like to deliver a clear message from the trustees. Denison's investment in you is lifelong. No one spoke explicitly about a red thread when my classmates and I sat in the chairs you're in. For my part, I want to be explicit. Whatever your personal experience, the thread is part of your identity as Denisonians. It isn't the mob or the Hotel California, but it is forever. It was the red thread that created a space for me, against the odds, at the commencement of 1979. I had arrived, almost accidentally, in September of '75 with the local 507 Teamsters Union card in my pocket and no decoder ring. A basketball player on scholarship and financial aid, I barely completed my first semester when family emergencies compelled me to withdraw. I went back to Cleveland to work in a machine shop and take classes elsewhere. I didn't imagine anyone would really notice I was gone. But in January, I felt the tug of that red thread when a trustee I had never met and Tony Liska reached out to see what I needed to come back. Then they found a way for me to return to Denison. They had noticed. I would study, serve as a student advisor, and become co-MVP of the worst basketball team, 0-21, in Denison history. Coach Sullivan, you don't live up to that. Denison wasn't always a comfortable fit for me, but I had tremendous relationships here and came to understand its ways. In time, I understood that this place wanted to be available to everyone. This meant that my mom could attend my graduation because she could stay in the home of my professor's assistant. It meant I had a Phi Beta Kappa key, even though I didn't have money for one. Sam Schaff, the registrar, he saw to that. I understood in time that everyone has challenges and deficits of experience. The people at Denison really cared about me, so please believe me when I promise that whatever your experience here was like, legions of people tried hard to make Denison work for you. The ecosystem of support was in place for you, and it will be your turn to keep it in place for those who follow you. It has enabled you to become the autonomous thinkers, discerning moral agents, and active citizens of a democratic society that we celebrate today. You have everything you need to build the incredible lives you imagine. I hope as you design those lives, you will keep Denison and those who follow you in your hearts and minds. We are very proud to call you Denisonians. Thank you. It is now my pleasure to call to the podium the 20th president of Denison University, Dr. Adam Weinberg, who will lead us in these proceedings.
So one of the truisms in life is expect the unexpected. That was something we didn't expect. I'm still trying to get my head around what an 0-21 basketball season looks like, and that we actually had something like that at Denison. So good morning, and welcome to the 182nd Annual Commencement Ceremony at Denison. Before we do anything else, can I just get the class of 2023 to stand up and face the audience? So, can I get this well-rested group of soon-to-be graduates? Can you just thank all of your parents, grandparents, mentoring organizations, and everybody else who made a Denison education possible for you? All right, we won't make you stand anymore. Thanks. And can we just all give a round of applause to the faculty and staff who provided the education to these graduates? This is a faculty of world-class scholars, educators, and mentors who, from my perspective, define what it means to be all in. This is a faculty that cares deeply about education, that understands the importance of mentorship, and that works hard every day to shape the lives of our students. Along those lines, I also want to say the same thing about our staff. Relationships define Denison. This is not a complicated place, but Denison's defined by the people who come here, the relationships we form with each other, and the way those relationships shape our lives. And I just want to thank the faculty and staff for everything they've done for our students. And finally, I just want to thank our students. Denison students are smart, they're interesting, they're curious, and they're engaged. They're also empathetic, nice, open-minded, and ethical. Our students work hard in the classroom and labs, perform at exceptionally high levels in athletic fields, artistic studios, stages, and elsewhere. Our students are involved and learn from each other. I have huge admiration and respect for this generation of Denisonians and all the ways that they embrace life with grace, humility, humor, intelligence, gratitude, and curiosity. Before I start remarks, can we just give them one more round of applause? So I was asked to send all my remarks in so that they could be up there on the board. So Joyce, I'm going to do one thing and then I'll get back to what I told you I was going to say. I just couldn't help walking in here this morning, and I want to offer one other I guess thanks is the right way to put it. When we welcomed you to Denison 4 years ago, we didn't quite understand what 4 years the world had in store for you and for everybody else. And while it wasn't a normal 4 years, I have incredible gratitude and pride in what we accomplished together, especially during the COVID year of 2021. And I just, first and foremost, want to thank all the families here who stuck with us that year. For all of you who allowed your kids to come back and made that possible, for all of you who exerted extreme patience as we tried to do online education, I just want to thank the parents for everything you did. I want to thank the faculty and staff who worked tirelessly to provide a great education during that year. And I just want to say to our students, you will always have my full respect. We got through it. We got through it pretty much better than most any other college. We did it together. It wasn't easy, but you made it happen. So, in a recent book entitled The Bill of Obligations, former president of the Council on Foreign Relations, Richard Haass, argues that respect for individual rights remains a basic functioning of this or any democracy, but rights alone do not a successful democracy make. He goes on to state, beyond rights, obligations are the cornerstone of a successful democracy. Haass outlines 10 obligations that are crucial to our ability to sustain the communities and the countries in which we live. I'm not going to read all of them, but I would encourage you to read the book. From my perspective, Haass's obligations fall into 4 buckets as follows: to be educated and informed about the issues of the day, to care and be involved in your communities and country, to respect the basic values and norms that hold society together, and to promote the common good. The basic argument of Haass's book is that rights are what we get from living in a democracy, but obligations are what allows democracies to exist. Having worked across 90 countries in my last job, I've seen up close what happens when these kinds of obligations fail to exist. Our conflicts over which rights matter most can rip us apart, but obligations, they bind us and allow us to find a way to enhance the rights of all in deep and enduring ways. Having been a college president for a decade, I'm keenly aware of the challenges and opportunities that await our current generation of students as they make their way into the world. The challenges, they are real and they are complex, but I have hope that this generation of students will take advantage of the opportunities to address them. My hope comes from working with this generation of college students, from actually getting the opportunity to live on campus with you. This is a generation that cares. They care about themselves, their friends, their communities, and the issues they face. They want to be the architect of their own lives, and they want to do it in ways that contributes to society. They know how to be good friends to each other, and they rightfully feel that they're being left problems that previous generations should have resolved. I would argue that their ability to live the life they want and to create the world they deserve rests on balancing the rights that dominate our public discourse with the obligations that hold it all together. I've devoted my professional life to the liberal arts because I believe the liberal arts is the only way we prepare a new generation, each generation, to do this work. The liberal arts help students develop certain habits of the mind that allow them to be critical thinkers and creative problem solvers who can effectively communicate and who have the intellectual humility needed to be the architect of their own lives in ways that contributes to society. Let me pull each component of that apart. The liberal arts educates us to be critical thinkers who have the ability to understand problems and issues in their complexity, to use reason, rationality, data, and facts to better understand the world around us. The liberal arts educates us to be creative problem solvers who have the capacity to innovate. It's one thing to be able to critique. Lots of people can do that. It's another to build on critique by being able to imagine positive paths forward, to see beyond old solutions to build the future. And the liberal arts educates us to be effective communicators who have the ability to speak and write in ways that others can actually hear. Anybody can shout, but the liberal arts students are taught how to weave words together in ways that can help others understand our points of view so we can engage and learn from each other. And all of this, it matters far less if we don't also have the intellectual humility that instills within us the habit of walking through life aware that we might be wrong. And hence, we might also want to be lifelong learners who are always seeking out alternative views, facts, and experiences that challenges orthodoxy, starting with our own. These four habits of the mind, critical thinking, creative problem solving, effective communication, and intellectual humility, these are the gifts we give our graduates in hopes that you will use them to architect your lives in ways that matter. That is our tradition. It's our purpose at Denison. I also believe the liberal arts instills within students a certain set of values and habits, a commitment to hard work, to ethics, empathy, curiosity, perseverance, humor, and an appreciation that we are part of things larger than ourselves. These values and habits are what allow you to embrace the four habits of the mind. So my point is actually really simple. Denison's commitment to the liberal arts is the right one, and we do it really well. Our students, they always articulate this well. And over the last few weeks, I've asked some to share reflections with me. One of your classmates wrote to me, "My time at Denison was not all sunshine and rainbows. There were incredibly hard moments, but I can confidently say I'm walking away knowing more about what I'm capable of and what I'm passionate about with a team of cheerleaders and mentors who see more in me than I'm able to see in myself. Thank you for creating an environment where that was possible." Another one of your classmates wrote, "The Denison faculty and staff pushed me to sit with ambiguity and dissonance, to stretch my mind in ways I didn't even know it could. These challenges have afforded me the constant opportunities for growth. Even after 4 years here, I cannot remember a period when I felt stagnant. It has been rigorous and exhausting in moments, but I've also learned that the hardest moments of your Denison education are also the most valuable ones. It's where my perspectives have been shifted and I've built grit and resiliency. And I've always had a few faculty members who I knew I could count on in the hardest moments, who will always make time to hear me out. The duality of challenge and care at this school is what's really special." So here's my charge to the great Denison class of 2023. Take the education you received here and live your life, and do it in ways that contributes. Be critical thinkers, creative problem solvers, and effective communicators. Develop your own views and voice based on your liberal arts training. Realize the importance of differences of opinion. Learn to work across differences to find new ways of being, living, and thinking. A senior reminded me the other day what I said to you on your first night on campus at the induction ceremony. I remember way back during our first year orientation when you, President Weinberg, challenged the student body to question the world around us constantly, and in the instance we disagree with somebody, we should get coffee with that person and hear their perspective and understand why they think differently. Practice that habit across your life. Be lifelong learners, read often and widely, join book clubs, be patrons of the arts, attend public lectures, set a tone within your communities that learning is important, facts matter, and intellectual humility is fun and part of developing fulfilling personal, professional, and civic lives. Embrace and sustain the relationships you've formed here. Many of you, I actually hope all of you, will remain lifelong friends. Friendship defines Denison. Cherish your Denison friendships. They will anchor your life in good ways you can't even begin to imagine. As Tom said, you're graduating into an alumni community of 40,000 Denisonians. You'll be surprised at all the friendships and relationships you create with alumni you don't even know yet, and all the ways they will contribute and enrich your lives. And stay connected. Stay connected to this college. Come back for reunions. Put a Denison coffee mug on your desk at work, a bumper sticker on your car, and a pennant on your refrigerator at home. You are outstanding human beings, and we want the world to know that you're Denison alums. One of you wrote, this is my last quote a few weeks ago, "I've done so much more with my Denison experience than I ever envisioned for 4 years in college. I was able to carve out my niche and do so alongside close friends, faculty, and staff who each had their own corner, their own Denison experience. That's the power of a Denison education. You learn how to forge relationships and solve problems while maintaining a deep commitment to place. You embody that. You embody the optimism, the empathy, the creativity, the humility, the confidence, and the commitment the world needs. So simply put, don't ever lose sight of your Denison friends. Stay connected to this college, and as your gratitude for this place grows, don't ever hesitate to reach back and thank the faculty and staff who made it possible. And contribute to the college wherever and however you can. You benefited from the generosity of those who came before you. Repay the favor. This is a great college. You are great Denisonians. I am so incredibly proud to be your president. I'm proud to be the president of a college that has students like you. I look forward to following your journey. It's been wonderful to share this hill together. It will always feel like home when you return. Congratulations to the great Denison class of 2023. And I'm now pleased to introduce Dr. Alex Miller, Vice President for Student Life, who will introduce your student speaker.
Thank you, President Weinberg. Good morning. Oh, we can do better than that. Good morning. Great. Before I introduce our student speaker, I would like to extend my warmest congratulations to the great class of 2023. You made it. It has been an honor to have been a part of your Denison journey for the past 3 years. I wish you great success in the next chapter of your lives. Again, congratulations. Yes. Now for our student speaker. It is our tradition at Denison that each year a member of the graduating class addresses the audience during the commencement ceremony. The speaker is chosen through a competitive process by a committee of students, faculty, and staff. This year's speaker truly believes in the word "and." She is a psychology and cinema major, a spoken word artist, and a screenwriter with a passion for film, musicals, and storytelling. She is an active member of the Denison community. She is a member of the Black Student Union and an intramural volleyball player. She has served as a 3-year community advisor and a screen projectionist for the Denison Film Society. During her sophomore year, she served as the co-founder, facilitator, stage manager, writer, and performer in Hear Us. Hear Us, a theater production that features original work written, workshopped, and performed by Denison artists of color. Our speaker has held summer internships with Rush University Medical Center in Chicago, Elephant Pictures, and Vertical Entertainment. This year, she received an 1831 Leadership Award bestowed by the Division of Student Life for her dedication, passion, and immense effort toward the improvement of student life. After Denison, she will be finalizing her screenplay and moving to Los Angeles in hopes of becoming a showrunner for a television series. Will you please welcome me in congratulating and welcoming my fellow Chicagoan, Yaz Simpson.
Thank you. A quick 30-second spiel. I have 3 things to say. First, hi family, I love you. Second, Ellie, happy birthday. And 3 is Brown Hall in the house? It's been a pleasure being your CA. Greetings, family and friends, staff and faculty, alumni, and the illustrious class of 2023. We did it. My name is Yaz, and I am eternally humbled and grateful to be your speaker for today. Today, I will be speaking in a form of poetry through spoken word. Now, I don't know how many of you have been to a spoken word event or a slam bout, but they typically go like this. The poet, or me in this case, will spit the flyest, wisest, most clever, wicked line you have ever heard, and the audience participates. Now how, you ask? Well, you can clap, you can snap, you can cheer. I just want to hear you. You see what I did there? I always say, if you feel it, I want to hear it, all right? I didn't hear you, illustrious class of 2023. I said, if you feel it, I want to hear it, okay? Okay. We are human. We are beautiful, but we are broken. We are compassionate, but we are imperfect, for we are human. We sacrifice our sanity for other people's benefit. We laugh, we dance, we cry, we sing songs horribly in the shower. We feel, we hurt. And though we are not immortal, our memories live through stories. For humanity is naturally and biologically flawed. But, in a way, we are magical. For you, class of 2023, you are magic too. Class of 2023, you all started off just like me, insecure and self-conscious about your future plans, wounded but bandaged, bandaged but healing. I've seen how you've struggled. I've helped you wipe your tears. I've seen your fears for the future, but just know that I'm here. Let me be your protector. Let me tell you what I know. Listen to what I have seen and see how much you have grown. You see, I've been watching you, class of 2023, and I've seen the hard work you've put in. I've seen you, president of a club, who took 18 credits a semester and works 15 hours a week. I've seen you, student athletes, who woke up at 5 a.m. each morning lifting and practicing until you went numb, going to class and then repeating it all the next day. I see you. I see you, my STEM and art major babies who spent hours perfecting their crafts in Talbot, in Ebaugh, in the Cinema House. I've seen you international students from all over walking up and down that hill every single day. I've seen you, class of 2023, and all those who fall in between, sharing all of your fun memories with me. But they weren't all good, now were they? No. I remember the hard times too. You see, I've seen you clutching your chest and begging for air, hugging your knees and rocking your body, knowing it's your thoughts that got you there. I've seen you so pissed off at the world, your eyes are bloodshot and fists are clenched. You press the gas and you drive and you scream and you yell. We struggled together after the overturning of Roe v. Wade. We mourned together. We mourned together when another soul was lost. I remember us, face masked up in the halls and illnesses traveling through the walls and laws enforcing us to be 6 feet apart. But with all that we've been through, we still managed. And look at you now. Look at you, sitting in that seat, waiting patiently to walk across the stage. Class of 2023, may your year be filled with congratulations, you've been accepted into. May your confidence be so evident, heads turn when you walk. May you be presented with so many opportunities, you struggle with which ones to pick. May your dreams be your reality. Class of 2023, I hope you find love, not for another person, but for you. That when you look in the mirror and stare at your image, you thank God for what He has given you. Class of 2023, I hope you laugh. Let that inner child free. Don't be boggled down by your anxiety. Be you and only you unapologetically. Class of 2023, manifest your destiny into memorization. Record every failure, every lesson, every victory. I've always said, if you claim it, it will happen. And the future I see for you, well, it's so bright, it's blinding. Today we stand, diploma in hand, minds filled with lessons of our past. Today we stand with memories of friends who became family. I am so proud to be a part of this class. Class of 2023, as I reminisce on all of our fun times, I can't help but emphasize my pride. Throughout all of these hardships I've seen you go through, you came out a bigger, better, more confident you. Congratulations. Class of 2023, if you gain one thing from this speech, let it be this. We are beautifully flawed human beings, and we carry scars wherever we go. But no matter what we go through in the future, our scars will heal and we will grow. So repeat after me when I say this, okay? From this day forward, I know I'll be okay. Because I have me and my scars are healing every day. My dreams are attainable. My life is worth living. And I am magical. Now claim it. Thank you.
So someday, you're going to be watching television, going to the movie theater, I don't know, at a theater someplace, pick up a book, and you're going to be blown away by the power of what you just saw, read, or heard, and you're going to ask yourself, who wrote that? And there's going to be Yaz. Can we give her one more round of applause? Smart, wise, funny. That was a gift. Thank you. So it is now my great pleasure to introduce your co-governors of the senior class, Maddy Murphy and Mac Hammett, who are going to present the senior class gift.
Good afternoon, fellow members of the class of 2023, President Weinberg, esteemed faculty, administration, beloved family, and friends. We would like to take this moment to just say thank you to everybody who supported our Senior Class Gift Initiative. Would all of the 2023 Senior Class Legacy Challenge committee members please rise and be recognized for your hard work this year? We would also like to acknowledge and recognize the leadership given by Talmadge Pryor, this year's chair. Without you, none of this would have been possible. Woo!
We encourage you to read in your programs the list of seniors and their families who have generously given to the 2023 Senior Class Legacy Challenge. Through these efforts and gifts, our class has shown dedication to and gratitude toward our home on the Hill. We are extremely thankful for all the gifts the college has given us, especially the chance to build community throughout our years on the Hill. Now, we look towards paying it forward on our own as we become members of the greater alumni community.
Before we announce our class gift, we would like to thank our family and friends for their continued support of our Denison education. Thank you for cheering us on. Thank you for the support you have provided during our time on the Hill, including at times making gifts of your own to the annual fund. Your support of the annual fund helps offset nearly 1/3 of the cost of tuition doesn't cover to help ensure that the life-changing education that we're receiving today, career counseling, mentorships, student life programs, and so much more continue on during our time at Denison and remain accessible and available to students.
It is with great pleasure and excitement to announce the class of 2023 has raised over $2,600 with 67% of our class participating in the senior class gift. With the trustees' generous matching amount of $23 added to every gift made by a graduating senior, the grand total of our class gift is $9,800.
We were so impressed with the number of classmates who decided to make a gift this year, and our senior giving rate of 67% is the highest of any graduating class in college history. We are so grateful for your participation. We wouldn't have been able to achieve this history-making achievement without your support.
This year's Senior Class Legacy Challenge Committee members chose to participate in supporting the National Panhellenic Council Endowed Scholarship Fund, spearheaded by Kwaku Akufu. Woo! Which will provide need-based scholarships to students and assistance to students from historically underrepresented populations who have demonstrated leadership and advocacy for their community. Before this year's senior class started their fundraising efforts, the endowment stood at $2,500. We are now proud to announce that grand total today is nearly $10,000 has been raised in the endowment as of today. Thank you again to Matt and Lisa Harrington for driving our efforts to success through the generous matching gift, and our heartfelt gratitude goes to the families who supported us in leaving behind a long-lasting legacy for the class of 2023 that will continue to positively impact Denisonians beyond our lifetimes.
Each of us sitting, oh yeah, applaud for that. Let's go. Each of us sitting here today has benefited in some way from the financial support of the annual fund, and that support comes in part from alumni that have come before us. These alumni gave so that we could have the same and more opportunities and resources as they had. This way of giving back both now and in the future helps us to stay involved in this Denison community that we will always have and be a part of. We hope that our class will continue to work together to give back to Denison by time, talent, and treasure in many ways long after today.
Classmates, good luck in your future pursuits and enjoy this day of celebration. Thank you to the Denison community at large for a great 4 years.
I now present to you the Chair of the Faculty, Heather Poole, Associate Professor of Politics and Public Affairs, who will recognize our retiring faculty members.
So each year at commencement, we pause to recognize the members of our faculty who are retiring or have retired over the past year. It is now my honor to recognize 4 members of the Denison faculty whose collective exemplary service to the college totals 130 years. Full descriptions of their backgrounds and accomplishments appear in your program. Their contributions to our community of learning will be deeply missed. Will those of you who are retiring please stand to be recognized as I call your names? Eric Liebel. Eric Liebel has been a member of the biology department for the last 29 years. He's a molecular biologist whose research utilizes fruit flies to study the development of sensory neurons. A previous holder of the Richard Lucier Endowed Professorship, he served as chair of the biology department from 2002 to 2007 and coordinated the neuroscience concentration at Denison for several years. He has also served as a member of Denison's Institutional Review Board, a group responsible for ensuring the ethical treatment of people who participate in research projects. He has a substantial peer-reviewed publication record and has had several grants from the National Institutes of Health and the National Science Foundation to support his research with Denison students. With an enduring love of teaching, Dr. Liebel has taught courses from genetics to developmental biology to a bioethics course taught with Professor Mark Muller of the philosophy department. He has advised dozens of student senior theses and mentored many faculty colleagues. In 2022, he was awarded the Bonar Family Mentorship and Teaching Excellence Award. Ann Townsend. I forgot to say that she's the class of '85 from Denison. She taught in the English department for 31 years. She held the Thomas B. Fordham Chair in Creative Writing and served as Director of Creative Writing at Denison, teaching courses that included 20th century poets and poetics, literary translation, and the history of the lyric poem. She is the author of 3 collections of poetry, Dime Store Erotics in 1998, The Coronary Garden in 2005, and Dear Delinquent in 2009, as well as the editor of Radiant Lyre, Essays on Lyric Poetry in 2007. She has received grants from the National Endowment for the Arts and the Ohio Arts Council, and fellowships from the Breadloaf Writers Conference, the McDowell Colony, the Virginia Center for the Creative Arts, the Bernheim Arboretum, and the Lannan Foundation. She's a co-founder of VITA, Women in Literary Arts, which accepted the Barnes & Noble Writers Award in recognition of its work for the larger literary community in 2016. Laura Boyd. Laura taught in the economics department for 32 years. She taught courses in her specialty area of labor economics, as well as econometrics and microeconomics. In her own words, she loves numbers and strives to help her students develop that same passion, not only in testing theories with real-world data, but making the numbers tell a story. Her research investigates the effects that investments in education, such as federally subsidized student loans, or the earning of a GED have on labor market outcomes. She also writes about what she has learned works well in the classroom to help students understand economic theories. Dr. Boyd was integral to the formation of Denison's data analytics major, approved in 2016 as a new BA degree that served as a prototype for similar programs across the country. She has served as the director of the program for the past 3 years. Sarab Badad. In his many years at Denison, Dr. Badad has taught a wide variety of courses in economics. He joined our faculty after a career at the University of Tehran, where he co-founded the National Association of Iranian Professors and was chief editor in economics of the Tehran Technological University Press. At Denison, he directed the Global Study Seminar for 18 years, was a co-founder of the university's Philosophy, Politics, and Economics and International Studies program, held the John E. Harris Chair in Economics from 2002 to 2017, and also has been involved with Middle East and North African studies. He held the positions of Executive Secretary and President of the Middle East Economic Association from 1990 to 1995, has been a member of the editorial board of the International Journal of Middle East Studies, and was a founding member of the board of directors of the International Iranian Economic Association. Please join me in thanking these retirees for their service to the college.
Denison has a long tradition of taking time at commencement to honor people who have achieved at the highest distinction in their fields, whose work has had a broad impact on society, and who exemplify the ideals of the college. Today, we are privileged to honor Lord Mark Malloch-Brown, a pragmatic and passionate diplomat, communications consultant, journalist, politician, and lifelong campaigner for democratic governance and human rights, who has dedicated himself to improving the lives of millions of people across the globe. I urge you to read more about his many accomplishments in his bio in the commencement program. At this time, I would like to welcome to the lecture Dr. Katie Crossley-Froelich, Executive Director of the Center for Global Programs and Associate Professor of Politics and Public Affairs, and the nominator of our honoree.
Mr. President, I am pleased to present Lord Mark Malloch-Brown, candidate for the honorary degree Doctor of Humane Letters.
Lord Mark Malloch-Brown, a diplomat, communications consultant, journalist, and politician, lifelong campaigner for justice, democratic governance, and human rights, a peer of the realm on leave from the House of Lords of the United Kingdom, former Minister of State for the British government, and Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, and current President of the Open Society Foundations. Advisor to Secretaries General and Prime Ministers, a member of the Privacy Council of the United Kingdom, listening and communicating to all who will hear out of his knowledge of the needs of refugees, the displaced, and the desperate, to an active interest in developing leaders of the future on campuses such as our own. At work around the world, a leader who exemplifies the strength of the liberal arts to engage in critical thinking, creative problem solving, and intellectual humility while examining the complex issues of our time, and a friend of Denison through the years. The degree of Doctor Humane Letterist honoris causa, given in Granville in the state of Ohio this 13th day of May 2023, being the 247th year of the Republic and of the university the 192nd. Mark, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and on recommendation of the faculty, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa. The chair of the faculty will invest you with the hood appropriate to your degree. It is my great honor to present you with this diploma. So we're not only pleased to be able to honor Lord Malloch-Brown today, but also to hear from him as our keynote speaker. Mark has worked to advance human rights, justice, and development for more than 4 decades in a variety of roles with the United Nations, the World Bank, and as a British government minister, as well as with a range of civil society groups and businesses. His distinguished career in international affairs includes services as Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations under Kofi Annan, heading the United Nations Development Program, directing external affairs at the World Bank, and working as a British government minister. Currently, Mark serves as president of the Open Societies Foundation, the world's largest private funder of independent groups working for justice, democratic governance, and human rights, where he oversees the foundation's work in more than 120 countries. I will add that Mark's ties as a Denisonian run deeply. His wife, Lady Trish Cronin Malloch-Brown, class of 1986, recently completed her term on the Denison Board of Trustees, and 2 of their children attended Denison. Please join me in welcoming Lord Mark Malloch-Brown as our keynote speaker.
President Weinberg, Adam, faculty, staff, parents, and most of all, you, the students of the class of 2023, thank you for that welcome and this honor. As you've just heard, Denison is a special place for my family. It educated half of us, no doubt the better half. My wife Trish and 2 of our children, as well as a niece and her husband. But that's Denison, friendships for life. Trish's college roommates still text and meet as the self-named council, offering an exuberant, continuous stream of gossip and commentary on their members and families' groups going on. Denison is family. And so it's a real honor to be here to celebrate the class of 2023, a class that has had to contend with a global pandemic that turned many of the experiences and joys of a college education on their head. A class that I know worked with staff and faculty, as we've heard this morning, to keep the life of Denison on track, participating remotely when that was unavoidable, and then together rebuilding a vibrant academic community here in Granville when you returned. A class all too familiar with those dreaded words, "You're on mute." So I pay tribute to you, the class of 2023, as well as the faculty, staff, and families who supported you through these hardships, for the remarkable versatility and resilience you all showed. And today, you are not on mute, so enjoy the comradeship, family, and your achievement. It may not always have felt like it at the time, but those dark days of 2020 and 21 will have cultivated in you strengths in adversity that you will carry through all the rest of your lives. Now, live your lives on unmute. Let me start by reflecting on the meaning of these events today. Commencement is often imagined as a form of gateway or exit from the otherwise impenetrable walls of the proverbial ivory tower. As students, you've often been imagined in earlier generations to be standing at this threshold, armed with the knowledge you've acquired at college, surveying the landscape of the world beyond before sailing out into it. But I'm sure that image really doesn't reflect the experience you've had here at Denison. One of the things that makes this place so special is that if it ever was, it is no longer an ivory tower. Rather, it is deeply embedded in Ohio and the wider world beyond Granville. The scholarships Denison offers to local students, the links between the academic work here and Ohio industry, and the new Denison Edge campus in downtown Columbus. It all speaks of a community that has seen the direction in which universities must travel and has moved much faster than many down that path. Universities everywhere are asking fundamental questions about their purpose in our age of transformation and turmoil. a topic of close interest to the Open Society Foundations, which I lead, given our long-standing commitments to the causes of academic freedom and democracy around the globe. The more far-sighted universities, like Denison, are recognizing that the future lies in breaking down those divides between theory and practice, between the abstract and the concrete, between the university itself and the wider world. And here, the wider world is almost literally right on the doorstep. Not 20 minutes from here in New Albany, two Intel chip mega factories are rising from what President Biden has called the ground on which America's future will be built. These vast semiconductor plants will provide untold opportunities to the region. They can help Columbus fulfill its laudable goal of overcoming social, racial, and educational divides to become a pioneer in inclusive growth. Yet these factories also direct our gaze to the storm clouds on our global horizons. We live in an age of so-called chip wars, a worldwide struggle to dominate the production of the most advanced microchip technology, crucial to everything from the smartphones in our pockets to the high-tech weaponry coveted by governments around the world. The promise of that flatter world of ever greater openness and trade and ever-advancing democracy, which I and your parents grew up in, which was so alluring in the heady days after the end of the Cold War, has given way to something more contested and threatening. Not only must we contend with the scourges of polarization and prejudice at home, but tensions between global powers are rising. Trade and technology have become newly subject to the forces of geopolitics. The very interdependence that we once celebrated has become a driver of conflict. And of course, the climate crisis threatens to intensify all of these tensions. This is a world which we grapple with every day in my work, and students, I'm afraid it's the world into which you are graduating. That's the bad news. The good news, however, is that you're all extremely well placed to shape such a world and even to thrive in it. Let me take you on a brief detour far from Granville and Greater Columbus, far from the United States, indeed far from our present moment in history, and look out, as I'm reminded myself, when I was a student graduating from university. It was 1970s Britain, and in many ways a fundamentally different world from that of today, a world still defined by Cold War between the West and the Soviet bloc, one in which President Nixon had just gone to China as the leader of an economy 11 times the size of its hosts in those days, a world in which Western society was rapidly modernizing and social mores changing, but in many ways still highly conservative by today's standards, and which IT and the internet revolution were barely a glint in a young Bill Gates's eye, but one where I as a young man was lucky enough to get to tilt at windmills in my gap year, traveling the length of Africa, from apartheid South Africa to the military government in Egypt. My 20s were then spent studying comparative international politics, a state over from here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Then came a career initially as a journalist, but always straining to be a doer, not an observer. So then a refugee official dealing with the victims of a rising communist surge in Indochina and the aftermath of American defeat in the Vietnam War. And then nationalisms from Central America to the Horn of Africa and South Asia. The lessons I've learned is this: everything changes. Very little is permanent. Countries rise and fall, and some just seem to fall, such as Afghanistan or Iraq. But then come others making surprising comebacks just when you'd written them off. Seemingly unstoppable ideologies crumble, social norms change drastically from generation to generation. Flux and uncertainty are the most reliable constants, and life never takes you in a straight line. George Soros, the founder of Open Society, a Jew who first escaped Nazi fascism and then fled as a refugee from communism in his home country, Hungary, and made it his way to America and to freedom and to fortune. Even he, as he founded Open Society, because of that life experience, recognized no gains are permanent. You can never rest on your laurels and assume democracy will stay. It's a constant struggle against reversals and against unanticipated threats. With the women of America who for 50 years have assumed that their right to choose was enshrined forever, have imagined the events of the last year in the Supreme Court. This issue of change is one that we, I think, all struggle with. It's predictability. And, you know, I, as a student, studied the Chinese Communist Revolution, and my professors challenged us with questions like, did Chinese peasants really know that Mao had been one of them and that he was now a revolutionary leader, or did they think he was just an emperor in distant Beijing? A young assistant of mine who read an earlier draft of this remarks told me she was still being asked the same question in her university courses just recently. So in many ways, this issue of uncertainty and the impermanence of revolutionary change and the durability of whether it is the Chinese imperial system or people's expectation of it remains the extraordinary factors against which political life plays out. For me, it was a political education, not a scientific one. It was a liberal arts one, if you like. But those habits of intellectual curiosity, of challenging the assumptions of the time, as my career played out in a world convulsively changed, both by politics but also by scientific and technological breakthroughs. A career that was privileged to take me from refugee camps in Thailand and political campaigns across Latin America and Asia to the corridors of power in Washington, New York, or London, but always ultimately beyond those traditional official corridors, to the streets and squares where political power is won, and to the fields and factories where, and more recently, the electronic screens, where economies are made and unmade. And let me just remember two fields. One on the Thai-Cambodian border in 1979, where I'd agreed to meet a Khmer Rouge leader as a UN official. On a signal from him, 1,000 Khmer Rouge in their telltale black pajamas rose from the waist-high rice paddy around us as he asked me, could he and his army, his militia, have asylum in Thailand. I had to refuse it to them because they were armed soldiers. They went back to their deaths, for the most part, in Cambodia at the hands of an invading Vietnamese army. The other field, many decades later as a UN development official, was amongst the dry soils of Africa, a fertile half-acre of experimental rice seed planted by the Japanese who were working with us, enabled to grow with resilience despite the drought of the region. My wife Trish has continued to work in this space of supporting seed diversity as we all, I think, seek to secure both the history of seeds, which have been so threatened in recent years, and their critical diversity to give us the food systems we need for the future. So I've been lucky enough to live a life on the edge of power, sometimes to be in it, often just to watch it, to watch sometimes its brutal exercise, such as President Putin's raw invasion of Ukraine. More often than not, it's more subtle and restrained exercise delivered with a velvet glove rather than a manacled fist. I think particularly of my time working for Kofi Annan, the great Ghanaian diplomat who between 1996 and 2005 served as Secretary General of the United Nations. That role, which is known as the most difficult in the world, and not unjustly, its incumbent must contend quite literally with everything, all the roiling crises, needs, and possibilities of humanity. And the job of being his deputy, like that of any deputy, as many of you in this room I'm sure know, is even worse because you get the bad cop roles. You have to go and deliver the unpopular decision. So behind his throne, I got to see and help exercise power at the multilateral level in a way which was the greatest privilege to serve. And I saw us build new coalitions for change. I saw us reach out to governments and non-governmental organizations, to businesses, to science and other thought leaders, to build coalitions, to take on the great challenges of the time, HIV, AIDS, and many others, which threatened public health at that time. And so I say from my own experience that you are lucky not to be emerging from an ivory tower with some finite package of knowledge to parcel out over your careers. That's not the right image. That's not the Denison you've known. Think back to when you arrived 4 years ago, perhaps anxious, unsure of what to expect, and you perhaps knew even then that you weren't entering an ivory tower, even if it may have looked at it as you came with your parents up the hill for them to deliver you for your first day of classes. You have been immersed in something much bigger than Denison, that whole intellectual concept of the liberal arts education. Permit me just quickly, because I think we've celebrated the liberal arts education already this morning, quote one of my political clients whose campaign for president I advised on, the Peruvian novelist and literary Nobel Prize winner and one-time presidential candidate, Mario Vargas Llosa. Good literature, he's written, erects bridges between different peoples, and by having us enjoy, suffer, or feel surprise, unites us beneath the language, beliefs, habits, customs, and prejudices that separate us. When the great white whale buries Captain Ahab in the sea, the hearts of readers take fright in exactly the same way in Tokyo, Lima, or Timbuktu. When Emma Bovary swallows arsenic and Anna Karenina throws herself in front of the train, the shudder is the same in the reader who worships Buddha, Confucius, Christ, Allah, or is an agnostic, wears a jacket and tie, a jalabi, a kimono, or a bombachus. So whether we majored in arts, in social sciences, or in natural sciences and technology, those of you who've studied within this liberal arts framework benefit from a training in the holistic and humanistic spirit that Mario is invoking here in his Ode to Literature. And that training makes an ideal foundation for action. The environmentalist Greta Thunberg talked about the need for what she calls cathedral thinking. She's argued that we must lay the foundations while we may not know exactly how to build the ceiling. She's right. That's precisely what is needed now. More than ever, a mindset that accepts the radical uncertainty and flux of our times, but does not interpret it as a counsel of despair, and that quite the opposite takes it as grounds to engage constructively and help make the world a better place, even if the soaring vaults and spaces of that brighter future cannot yet be fully imagined. We should not mistake our inability to control everything for an inability to change anything. That is what makes Denison's involvement with the wider community so encouraging. Here you have been part of a university that's not closing itself off, but embracing a region at its heart. So class of 2023, you may not know exactly where you want to go with your lives, or may look to your futures as an open road. You may aspire to careers in business or the arts, in science or non-governmental organizations, in politics or health or teaching or the military or other forms of public service. But whichever path you take, my message to you is hold on tight to that liberal arts spirit that Denison spirit, and carry it with you. Bring the sense of empathy and nuance that you acquired at Denison into whatever fields of activity you pursue. Do not afraid to work across fields or perspectives that appear to be at odds with one another. Seek out those who disagree with you and engage with them. Be ready to adapt when setbacks strike, and be prepared for your lives to take unexpected turns. Keep training the habits of open-mindedness that you acquired here. And I frankly urge you to remember that we cannot know what lies ahead of us, but we can make ourselves resilient for it as individuals and as societies and as families. And as an African proverb tells us, do not expect to calm the wind, seek instead to bend the sail. So congratulations to the class of 2023, to your families and to the whole community. Thank you.
Can we give Mark one more round of applause? So I'm going to look at Peter as I say this and see how far I get before he knows what I'm going to say. So among Mark and Trisha's many, 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 many contributions to Denison, and that list is very long, one of their most enduring will be that their son George was one of our early students who worked with Professor, now Coach Grambois, to start what is quickly becoming one of the top fencing programs in the country. And there's his saber. Did I get that right? So I now call, now it's the fun part. I call on the provost of the college, Dr. Kim Copeland, to preside over the presentation of candidates in the awarding of the baccalaureate degrees as authorized by the faculty of Denison University.
Will the members of the class of 2023 please stand? Mr. President, I have the honor of presenting for their degrees the members of the Denison University class of 2023.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Denison University, and upon the recommendation of the faculty, I confer upon each of you your degree with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto. Congratulations, you are now college graduates. So you can be seated. So President Copeland's going to read the names of the graduates of the class of 2023. As she does that, commencement staff will guide each person across. I do want to make one footnote on this. You are going to notice, is there an echo? It's not just in my head? Good. That's reconfirming. So you're going to notice a lot more abstentions than we normally have, and that's because we have an awful lot, probably more than ever a lot, members of the class of 2023 off playing in various NCAA tournaments this weekend, which is a good thing. We're very proud of them and excited for them.
Class Co-Governor William McIntyre Hammett, cum laude. Class Co-Governor and President's Medalist Madeline Bade Murphy, cum laude. The President's Medalists Lucy Corin Anderson, magna cum laude. Tate J. Ferguson, co-salutatorian, summa cum laude. Zoya Azar Geyser, magna cum laude. Oliver William Janu, co-valedictorian, summa cum laude. Se-young Han Lim, summa cum laude. Jalen Sky Roth, summa cum laude. Tessie Udo, magna cum laude. Graduates receiving the Bachelor of Fine Arts degree, Fatima Bey. Ryan Metzger. Ellie Schrader. Aileen Jennifer Schretzmeyer, cum laude. Graduates receiving the Bachelor of Science degree, Moriah Aberly, magna cum laude. Fernanda Ayala, summa cum laude. Andrew Davenport Brown, cum laude. Monique Vergara Brual. Michaela Nicole Carpenter. Soham Changani, magna cum laude. Zhenghua Casper Chen. Amy Chiro, magna cum laude. Eric Christopher Chimes. Sydney Ann Cianciola, magna cum laude. Riley A. Coburn, magna cum laude. Riley Collins. Thomas Joseph Krakus. Gloria Sui, cum laude. Angela Cufo. Ziheng Dai. Jitu Dagana Degefa, magna cum laude. In absentia, Ignacio de la Torre Sanz Rico. Ebo Sampa Dennis, cum laude. Serena Due, cum laude. Natalia Connie Espinoza. Johnny D. Fabian Polanco, magna cum laude. In absentia, Shindo Fan. Jesse Felker, magna cum laude. In absentia, Chase Alexander Fisher. Courtney Elizabeth Faulk. Leslie Franco. Antonio Christian Fulciniti. Andrew Morgan Goldshoel. Sydney Gossard, magna cum laude. Anna Grendis, cum laude. Daniel J. Gunther, summa cum laude. In absentia, Mingyang Huang. Bhavana Huliar. Jay Jung, magna cum laude. Daniel Kasprovic. Erin Nicole Kistler, summa cum laude. Richie Kurlick. Koi Lei, summa cum laude. In absentia, Jae-un Lee. Jimmy Lee. Alicia Marie Lynch. Greg Madar, magna cum laude. In absentia, Charlotte Madamo. Thien Phu Nguyen. David Niehaus. Olivia May Mismer Ogilvy, cum laude. Sadie Johanna Ovayi. Casey Margaret Pagano, magna cum laude. Sophia Rose Parpala. Lucas Charles Perez. Mary Catherine Price. Jinyuan Chuan. Reese Quigley, magna cum laude. Mark R. Rainey, magna cum laude. Madeline Reap, cum laude. Lily Ray Riddick, summa cum laude. Grace Emerson Ruxness. Isabel May Reed Small, magna cum laude. Hosanna N. Smith. Gabe Springer. Rebecca K. Squire. Mary Stewart, magna cum laude. Ollie Strasberg. Olivia Catherine Sue, co-valedictorian, summa cum laude. In absentia, Abigail Grace Van Meter, cum laude. Carson J. Voigt. Catherine Olivia Weber. Eric Logan Weddy, magna cum laude. In absentia, Yiyang Shu. Sophia Yeager Model. Lauren Grace Young, cum laude. Andy Zabinski. Michael Zhang, magna cum laude. In absentia, Zheijing Freddie Zhu, magna cum laude. Now graduates receiving the Bachelor of Arts degree. Eric Undinkra. Zoe D. Adam. Ansley Madeira Adkins. Kweku Bediako Akufo. Noah Frederick Allen. Kathleen Nicole Amit Colvin. Catherine Thomas Anderson. Erin Ann Anderson, summa cum laude. Margaret D. Andries. Gloria Apaya. Abigail Marie Arabia. Mitchell Ashmeyer. In absentia, Jane Catherine Bailey. Parker Bailey. Jessina Sienna Baker. Sarah Jean Wanling Baker, magna cum laude. Maggie Ballantyne, cum laude. Maya Barlow, cum laude. Alexis Barrett. Benjamin A. Berry. In absentia, Barrett Donald Bauer. Lily Bayless. Meg Bayless. Jonathan Bearden. Sydney Betterman. In absentia, Abdallah Ahib Bekit. Emma Margaret Bertelman. Sophie Marie Berger, magna cum laude. In absentia, Olivia Grace Bernacki. Miles Berry. Jack C. Bishop. Elia Blasco. Rachel Ann Block, magna cum laude. Joshua Monroe Bone. Hannah Ashley Bova. Ian Chance Bradshaw, magna cum laude. Eric G. Brannigan, magna cum laude. In absentia, Maya Julia Breeden. Cameron Brickley. Jackson Provine Briggs. In absentia, Andrew Christopher Brim. Zachary Daniel Brorin, cum laude. In absentia, Douglas Brooks, magna cum laude. Piper E. Broomhead. Alyssa Marie Brown. Annika Josephine Bruce, cum laude. Darius Emmanuel Siggers Bryant. Anthony J. Beakley, magna cum laude. John Christopher Bolger. Grace Margaret Buller, magna cum laude. Jack Thomas Burke. Jake M. Caldwell, magna cum laude. Mia Camille Colazo. Nell Guerin Carmody. Cooper Jackson Carroll. Samuel Carter. Zachary Scott Case. In absentia, Jinwoo Andrew Cha. Jillian Champoir. Christopher Chow. Zink Chen. In absentia, Shuyan Chen. In absentia, Tai-Ching Chen. Yancy Chen, cum laude. In absentia, Nu Chong. Ian Brennan Childs, cum laude. Michael J. Chin Lee. Scarlett Cho, magna cum laude. In absentia, Maria Belikoff Simonillo. Sammy Sintra, magna cum laude. Jennifer Rachel Clancy, cum laude. In absentia, Tommy Clayton. Sky Cohen, magna cum laude. Adam Robert Cohn, cum laude. Alexis Constantine Coleman. Drew Michael Collins. Lin Yun Kong. Jenna Correo. Audrey Rella Corrigan. Christina Petzold Crane, magna cum laude. Jacob Perkins Kropp. Lindsay O'Reilly Cruikshank, cum laude. Rachel E. Kryberg. Tara Chalibrick. Blythe Dahlem. In absentia, Yuchen Dai. Sophia Denise Danchin, magna cum laude. G. Austin Davis. Samuel Richard Davis. In absentia, Drew Michael Dawkins. Ellie DeGrude, magna cum laude. Thomas Olney Decker. Pierre Delacroix Vaubois. Nina Chaumet de la Perouse. Oliver Christopher Del Sesto. Margaret Demchek, cum laude. Zachary Constantine Demet. Francis Bailey DeTuro. Riley DeGiulio, cum laude. Spencer DeVerglio. Maya M. Doskasil. Joan Do Trong, magna cum laude. Brendan Hetrick Downey. Mary Rose Devlin. Emma Elizabeth Driver, cum laude. John Christian Dwayne. Lindsay Elena Duca. Alexander Joseph Duncanson. Alana Dupre. Will Duquette, magna cum laude. Tamara Jolick. In absentia, Reed Harrison Edelstein. Caroline Ann Therese Elliott, cum laude. Gabrielle Elliott. Carl Reginald Ellis. Benjamin David Ernest. Cordero Leon Mauricio Estremera, cum laude. In absentia, Shushi Fan. Talia Ferguson Nieves. Ari M. Fearer, summa cum laude. Sunny Ann Fireman, cum laude. Roberta Armstrong Fisher. In absentia, Maximilian Fleming. In absentia, Michael Charles Fleming, magna cum laude. Andrew James Fleury. In absentia, Brendan Hugh Flynn. Trevor Foreman. Michael G. Frilino. Annabelle Shalell Frischling, magna cum laude. Isabel Mary Gaber. Gloria Gao, cum laude. Robert Garber, cum laude. Daniel Garcia Collin, magna cum laude. Samuel Shepard Gargaro. Omari Renee Garrett Wright. Donald Gelastino. Gigi George, magna cum laude. Hannah Gubriel. Charles Vincent Glennon III. Eli Goldman. Sebastian Andre Goodman. Ava Margaret Goodwin. In absentia, Calvin Edward Gray. Charles Robert Gray. Benjamin Green. Ethan Greenleaf, magna cum laude. Juliana Hage. Alexandra Hall, magna cum laude. Assad Jamal Hamilton. Daria Sojourner Hammond. John Michael Hankin. Lena Hanrahan. In absentia, Grace Margaret Grace Hanson, cum laude. Mark Lenart J. Harms, magna cum laude. Olivia Harvey. Muhammad Tarek Ali Ismail Hassan. Henry Hernandez Atkins. Dulcie Joan Hayes. Peter Robert Higley, magna cum laude. Lila Lynch Hinkle. Max Joseph Hoffman. Anna Hollenbaugh. Mandy Hong, magna cum laude. Lawrence Dante Hoover. In absentia, Jinyao Hu, cum laude. Runduo Huang. Catherine Hubbard, cum laude. Emma Hughes. Madeline Taylor Hunt. William Hunter, magna cum laude. Lane Wagner Hirsch, cum laude. Natalie Susan Huttress. Sultan Ali Idris. Lily G. Inslee. Amelia Jamela Jalaba. Sullivan Edwin Janik. Che Jung, summa cum laude. Charlotte Johnson. Dylan James Johnson. Jessica Alexandra Joseph, summa cum laude. Christopher Karasinski. In absentia, Zachary Merritt Kaysen. Leland Reese Keller, cum laude. William Kelsey, magna cum laude. Grace Miller Kennedy. In absentia, William Patrick Kenny. Julie Scott Kenyon. Shamshad Dilshadovich Koishanov, cum laude. Hayin Joy Kim, cum laude. Jisoo Kim, class co-salutatorian, summa cum laude. Audra Louise Kimball, summa cum laude. Levi Eugene Klein. Ivan Kobialka. In absentia, Alaire Diane Kotz. Sarah Elizabeth Kovacic, magna cum laude. Olivia Rose Lahote. Lynn Lai, magna cum laude. Ellie Laird, magna cum laude. Nicole Landa, cum laude. Aidan Lane, magna cum laude. Jackie Laskowski. Katie Lee Lauk, summa cum laude. Nicolos Lozanis. Alexandra Reese Lazo. In absentia, Esther Lee. James Lemberg. Thomas D'Onofrio Least, cum laude. Riley M. Lenthal. Zachary Jason Leonard, magna cum laude. William David Levin. Fei Ting Lee. Huayu Liang. Yifei Liang. Andy Lim. Francis Hoyk Lindell. Anna Elizabeth Lindauer. Kayla Rebecca Linkowitz. Yasmin C. Little. In absentia, Xiaoyan Liu. In absentia, Jihao Liu, magna cum laude. Clara Ruth Logan. Gabriela Marita Longo, cum laude. Tristan Liu, cum laude. Peter L. Machiarula, magna cum laude. In absentia, Colin G. McMillan. Patrick Michael Madden. Camilla Magira. James William Mahaney. James Adley Marr. William Main. Dana Eleanor Yongqing Maloney. Junwei Mao. Vitor Hosha, magna cum laude. Emma Ray Margot, cum laude. Mac Marston. Alec S. Martin. In absentia, Vladimiro O. Martin. Anacletus Masulo. Abigail Jane Masturzo, cum laude. Maureen Mathani Mathenge, magna cum laude. Luke Matesic. Leah Mayberry. Ansley Pruitt Maynard. In absentia, Henry Grant Maynard. Samuel Finn Mazo. Robert James McCulloch. Deshaun Lamont McGee. Tanajani C. McGee. Tanajane C. McGee. Avery Ryder McMahon. Frances Claire McMillan, magna cum laude. Margaret Eileen McNamara. Isaiah Crosby Meadows. Elizabeth Meek. In absentia, Maximilian Rutledge Mem. Margaret Elizabeth Malick. Joshua Thomas Melvin. Charles Joseph Mensch. Zoe Alexandra Meyer. Nicholas L. Myers. Merrick Gregory Miller. Merrick will be attending Marine Corps Officer Candidate School and upon completion will commission as a second lieutenant in the U.S. Marine Corps. Ethan Parks Miracle. David Montalvo. Iden Moody. Peter Morley. Abby Morrison. Rakaya Morrow. Kayla Elizabeth Moziani. In absentia, Chen Hai Mu. Sawyer Fustau Muir, cum laude. Wyatt Mullen. Annie O'Shaughnessy Murray. Leona Murray. Callie Rain Nadiello. Allison Page Nowen. Shreyar Naveed, cum laude. Patrick James Neenan. Lane Blakesley Newman, magna cum laude. Hanung Haley Nguyen, magna cum laude. In absentia, Hong Nguyen, summa cum laude. Hoi Duke Nguyen. Jacqueline Nguyen. In absentia, Lynn Nguyen. Chloe Elizabeth Nicholson. Victoria Bent Nielsen. Danielle Norris, magna cum laude. Avery Notman, summa cum laude. Marcus Nowling. In absentia, Conlon James O'Brien. Allison Grace O'Connor, cum laude. In absentia, Carolyn Grace O'Day. In absentia, Ryan Quinn O'Donnell. Carter Bell Ogden. Anaya Angelique Ortiz. Estrella Ortiz. Jean Paul Otto V. Reed Lansing Owens. Jeremy Lawrence Palmer. In absentia, Gavin Nicholas Pappas, cum laude. Jeffrey Michael Party, cum laude. Lucas Partridge. Christopher Giovanni Pascal. Vidishi Patney. Carter Montgomery Patton, magna cum laude. Nicole Pavis, magna cum laude. In absentia, Isabel DeCenzo Peel, magna cum laude. Jacob Anderson Pendergraft. Ileana Perrin. Alexandra Lee Peterson. Gracie Fan, magna cum laude. Sylvia Ellen Phillips, summa cum laude. Emma Rose Phoenix. Mary Grace Pearson. In absentia, Eric Lawrence Pincus. Julia Kehualane Piper.
Let's go, Julia!
Jonathan Stewart Powell. Alan Talmadge Pryor IV. Emma Pro, magna cum laude. Emerson Elise Prond. Sihan Chu. Anne Rafidi. Jade Louise Rasmussen. In absentia, Anne Elizabeth Bird Rao, magna cum laude. Two-way Redford Mong Mong. Sophia Elizabeth Wren, cum laude. Connor Riley. In absentia, Emma Margaret Rebke. Mia McCarty Rhodes. Angelo Anthony Ritchie, cum laude. Natalie Bell Richards. Justin R. Rink. Sarah Shin Robertson, magna cum laude. Henry Scott Robinson. Alexander Cole Rogers. Owen Hurley Ronchetti. Anthony Warren Rooney. Benjamin Rumsfeld. Emma Rutherford, magna cum laude. Mayuko Sadanaga. Savannah Ray Sargent, cum laude. Fiona M. Schultz, cum laude. Henry Kyretta Schwartz. Turner Marshall Schwiebert. Daniel John Seeley, summa cum laude. Trevor Thomas Seitz. Julia Shayna Shafir. Fiona Shepard. Deja Simley. Yaz Simpson. Matthew Terry Singh, cum laude. Aaron Joseph Scubby, cum laude. Charles Christopher Smith. Fiona Agnes Smith, summa cum laude. Jillian Smith. Kelsey Lee Smith. Eric Allen Smolker. Hannah Eliza Sousa. John T. Spain, Jr. Teddy Stahl. Natalie Rose Stanchina. Benjamin Starsevich. Carly Christina Stark. Margaret M. Stewart. Colson William Stutz. Sue DeLong, cum laude. John Paul Svensson, cum laude. Nathan Phelps Swift. Lenny Alexander Tejeda, cum laude. Eleanor N. Tierney. Sophie Louise Tite. Lance Edward Tabaski. In absentia, Zachary Owen Tonesing. Taylor Ann Trapp. Carolyn D. Trent. In absentia, Ethan Powell Tyak, cum laude. Luca Iraj Vicinelli. Elizabeth Clara Wagner. Gavin Dean Wagner. In absentia, William Charles Walsh. Olivia Walters, cum laude. Peilin Wang. Shuying Wang, magna cum laude. In absentia, Zijin Wang. Joyu Wang. Erin Kathleen Ward. Evelyn Ashley Waters, cum laude. Liam Joseph Waters. Charles Webb. Hannah Rose Wedipole, magna cum laude. Alex Way. Cole Weiss. Ania Imani Walaire. Kara Whalen. Eric Cates Wharton. Simone Williams. Cameron Williamson. Madeline Pearl Wolf, cum laude. Dylan Wright, summa cum laude. Sam Wyckoff, magna cum laude. Danielle Nicole Wydick, magna cum laude. Hannah Marie Wynn. In absentia, Winpu Xia, magna cum laude. In absentia, Xintian Xu. In absentia, Shen Yan. In absentia, Xiaoyu Yang. Toshiyuko Yani. In absentia, Shutong Yi. Jordan Lee Yek. In absentia, Ryan Mackenzie Yaspa. Hannah Lynn Young, cum laude. In absentia, Bo Yu. Li Wei Zhang. Yihang Zhan. Hannah Zhang, magna cum laude. Anxiang Zhao. Yiyu Zhao, cum laude. Shang Zhao. In absentia, Jiyu Zhao. Quincy Zhou. Yurei Zhou. Yushin Zhou. Chris Hongqi Zhu, cum laude. In absentia, William John Zimmer and Alexis Rebecca Zielinski.
Can we give our graduates one more round of applause? So to our graduates, it's been an extraordinary honor to share this hill with you. Take your Denison education, be the architect of your own life, come back often, cherish your Denison friends, and remember, anytime you walk back on this campus for the rest of your life, you will get that wonderful feeling in your stomach. Congratulations. So, as our tradition, we're going to close the commencement ceremony with the singing of the first verse of our alma mater to Denison. I'm pleased to introduce new graduates, Allie O'Connor and Sam Wyckoff, who will sing it for us. So they're going to sing it for us once, and then we're going to join them and sing it a second time. And for those who don't know the words, they're in your program. So I would encourage everybody to stand and join in the singing.
Yeah, ready?
To Denison we raise our song, fair college on the hill, the name that sets our souls on fire and makes our senses thrill. To Denison, my Denison, in praise our voices swell, the scenes of happy college days, the home we love so well. To Denison we raise our song, fair college on the hill, the name that sets our souls on fire and makes our senses thrill. To Denison, my Denison, in praise our voices swell, the scenes of happy college days, the home we love so well.
And now, the faculty and the platform party will recess while the graduates will remain in place for one very special ceremonial duty that you have yet to complete before you leave this place. So graduates, stay in place as the platform party and the faculty recess.
Please join me in the ceremonial flipping of your tassel from right to left. Congratulations. And finally, this is a photo op we only get one shot at. So on the count of 3, you may toss your mortar boards into the air. 1, 2, 3, let's go! Congratulations, graduates. Your class is dismissed.